Just a little quick stuff first. D-Wade got a scare last night. You know, he found out that, once again, Father Time don't play no games. He had a couple of great ones. He had a couple of good games there, D-Wade. But then that knee was
that happened while we were recording.
Yes.
Did you see it?
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it happened while we were doing it.
Oh, he was writhing in pain. That knee was like, no, you had one 40-point game this week. Don't try me again.
That boy did a full split. That boy did a James Brown split out there, boy. Oh, my God. Like, whew.
Yeah. Good for him. But he's all right. They did the MRI. No structural damage, just like a bruise or something. So he'll be back and ready to go for the playoffs. They're still in that 8th, 7th, 8th spot, right? I haven't looked at the standings here pretty lately. I haven't.
Yeah, they were 7th when I checked yesterday. I'm looking right now. I think they're in 7th place.
Yeah, it's just too much for me to pay attention to bad teams and where.
Well, yeah, it is 7th.
Yeah, I know it is.
Would you please?
I didn't even mean to do that.
Actually, they slid down to 8th.
Yeah.
So now, as the playoffs were to start today, it would be that Atlanta-Miami matchup.
Yeah.
And then you would have Cleveland and Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, bad teams, paying attention to them at this time of season.
And Boston could still slide into that 8th spot in the East, man.
Well, good for them. Brad Stevens, like young college coach, showing his worth. Good for him. Get to be the first bad team in the Eastern Conference. Good for you. Where am I at now? Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. Like, people always talk about honesty and, you know, how it's such a virtue and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as somebody finds the need to get the panties in a bunch. You know, a couple weeks ago, Kevin Love said, look, I think Russ is the MVP. Oh, what do you mean? You're teammates with LeBron. So what? I was roommates with this other kid. Plus, he's playing better.
Right.
Whatever. But then he gets some honesty done, and ESPN says, you know what, guys? We don't have anything else to talk about. Let's talk about this. Because if we do, we have enough idiots that follow us, they'll believe it's a real story. Okay. So now, Mark Jackson, who was the former coach of the Golden State Warriors, he is now back doing his other job. He's an ESPN analyst, and he said, when asked the question, that he believes James Harden is this year's MVP. I agree with him wholeheartedly. But now, Andrew Bogut is like, what? See, that's what I'm talking about. He's hating. Nah, doing his job. He's doing his job. If he just picked Steph Curry because he loves the kid, that'd be idiot. That'd be him being an idiot. He's doing his job.
Because I don't think he doesn't have anything against Steph as a player.
Of course not. He loves that kid.
Like
you remember everyone laughed at Mark Jackson when he said these two dudes are the best shooting backcourt in the history of basketball. Now what's everybody saying? The same damn thing.
Yeah.
Some people just know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? So you can't have it both ways. Like, yeah, Mark, look at that. A couple years later, he's a damn genius. Yeah, he knew what he was talking about when he said it. So now because he doesn't pick Steph Curry, it's not like because that's the world that ESPN puts everyone in. Because if you don't love everyone, you hate them. If you don't absolutely love everyone at every minute of every day, that means you hate them. It can't be somewhere in the middle. Like, it can't be like, yeah, I love Steph, but I think James Harden's playing better. I think he's doing a better job for his team than Steph is. You know, he's had to do without, you know, his big man. And they're now, I think Houston has made it to the number 2 seed. Now I think they've passed Memphis to become the number 2 seed now. Yeah, that has MVP written all over it. Like, I've given up. Like, yesterday I told you, I've given up on everyone else. I think James Harden is his award right now. Done deal. As good as Russ has been playing, this is James Harden's deal, man. You know, and good for him. You know, he's shown everyone who thought that, yeah, we'll see who James, because that was a big sentiment with him. Like, we'll see who he is now. You know, not coming off the bench no more. He's not a 6th man. He's the man now. It's a lot more pressure.
Yeah,
and he just ate it. Yeah, he just ate it. Like it was breakfast. He just ate it up. And speaking of hate, I told you guys. Oh, go ahead, because I'm gonna let you get all this out.
No, No. It's just crazy that, you know, we've heard, you know, like you just talked about the Mark Jackson, you know, situation. You know, you heard the Kevin Love choosing Westbrook over LeBron and all of that. But, you know, and I guess the best thing about it is that nobody's really talking about James Harden. Like you don't hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hear that kind of negative talk because, you know, like you can't even portray, like, there's no way that the media in no way could just portray like, oh, what James Harden is doing is just not anything less than spectacular. You know what I'm saying? So, like you just don't you haven't heard it. I mean, you hear people singing his praises, but you haven't heard the backside. You know what I'm saying? Any fabricated media, orchestrated stories about it. You know what I mean? You haven't heard like Kevin Durant using Rusty over Harden. You ain't heard that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
The argument's over. I mean, in my book, it's over. The argument's over. I mean, a couple guys who played good basketball this year. Russ being one. Like the mixtape. That's what his name is, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't hear me yesterday, the dude that wears number 30 for the Golden State Warriors, from henceforth, out of my mouth, he'd be known as the human mixtape. He's put together a bunch of highlights. He's played consistently as well. Hadn't missed a lot of ball games. But you put into the factor, like that team is nice. It's a nice team, man. Draymond and the Thompson kid and the kid from North Carolina. What's the kid's name?
Harrison Barnes.
Harrison Barnes. That's a nice squad. You know what I mean? So you take Steph off that team, you still talking about a 50-win team probably. You know what I mean? Like if he had to miss the same amount of games say Dwight Howard missed, I think they'd be cool. You know what I mean? They might not be as good as dominant as they've been.
Yeah, they wouldn't be 62 wins.
Yeah, they'd be all right.
They wouldn't be a 62.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they'd be all right because they got some dudes that can get buckets and dudes that can play defense as well. So I think you factor that in as well.
But this 62-win team, I mean, dude, this is pretty phenomenal what we've been seeing out of Golden State this year. Like as much as the Hawks has impressed everybody here in Atlanta, I think it's in different ways because Atlanta's just playing the consummate team ball right now. Like the motion that they play, when Atlanta is on, like they playing the best basketball in the league, but just the players. It's the players that Golden State has that just, they have guys that can go start anywhere.
Yeah, they got greats. They got greats. Yeah. You know what I mean? Atlanta's got a bunch of goods. They got greats. They got like at least two greats.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's special seeing them guys out there on the court,
Absolutely.
man. Because yesterday, they played all the way through the end of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody played.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes had the game winner at the end with like a second left or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, man, watching Steph Curry play, I mean, it's just amazing, man. It's just amazing to see that dude.
I have no knowledge of who you're talking about. I know who not the Steph Curry you talking about is.
Oh, the mixtape.
Oh, you're talking about the human mixtape. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Like, even when they show him on the bench, man, it's just like you can look at his face and he just looks locked in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He's swagged out. Steph swagged out.
Yeah,
mixtape. He's swagged out.
I mean, just like we witnessing something very special with this young man. He's 3, 4, 500 times the player that his daddy was.
Because no one saw it coming. That's the thing. No one saw this coming. Like, you remember early in Steph's career, he had them ankle injuries, those foot injuries. It was like, man, how's he gonna get past?
They didn't know. Right, they didn't know if he was gonna make it.
Yeah. Right, because then remember, because he was on that team with Monte, and it was like, okay, we got to make a decision here. Are we gonna keep this kid Steph? Or we're going to let him go. I'm calling him Steph because this is before the mixtape. He was Steph then. So don't get confused, everyone. He's the mixtape now. Back then, he was Steph. And their decision was, are we going to keep Steph? We're going to keep Monte. And they let Monte ride. And folks was like, ugh. Because Monte gets buckets. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Monte Ellis gets buckets. Like, for real.
But he had to have that ball too.
Well, but they understood, man. I think it's a good job of foreseeing what you had, man. Understanding that, you take a chance on this guy's feet and ankles, not all because he's not a big man. He's not Kevin Durant. He's not 7-footer. He's a guard. So you kind of he's found the right shoes, obviously, in the Under Armour stuff that he's wearing now. And he hasn't really he had the one game he missed this year because of a foot problem, but that's one game. He missed the game, came right back. So it wasn't like the injuries or the problems he was having earlier on in his career, which is good. So now he looks to be a guy who, and you can look at Steph's body, man. Look at his body. Look at his arms. Like, he's transformed himself. He's worked at becoming a good player. He's not a dude that just came out of Davidson like, yeah, I'm just going to get better. Because the other question was, yeah, he played shooting guard at Davis. Oh, who remembers that? And they were like, can he handle the ball in the it's almost like a joke now. Can he handle the ball in the NBA? Ask Chris Paul. Just ask Chris Paul, can he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that? You remember a couple weeks ago when we were texting each other when he had dribbled into the paint and dribbled all the way back around and crossed over a dude and jumped back behind the 3-point line.
Yeah, the Kings against the Kings. Yeah, I just tweeted one word. I was like, Steph! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Send. That was the tweet. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what to say no more. I'm just like, whatever, dude. Stop doing that. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, that whole little I love to see a dude work himself into greatness. You know what I mean? Like some dudes, Magic is gonna be great. You understand? Michael's gonna be great. But Steph came out of Davidson. It was like all these questions about him. Can he be healthy? Can he stay healthy? Can he switch positions from the shooting guard to the point guard? Because he's not big enough to cover shooting guards in the NBA. How's his ball handling gonna hold up? Questions answered. Check, check, and check. He's outstanding. Like, I don't know. Like, I just want to see him and Kyrie in a dribbling contest against one another. Just how foolish those two dudes are with their basketball in their hand. Just sit there and just watch that for like 20 minutes of these two dudes just dribbling the ball against each other in some sort of ignorant contest that I make up. Okay. Where are we at time-wise? This is the Sports Kings Podcast. I'm Big Mike alongside Rob Calloway. Spreaker.com is where you're hearing us, unless you're listening to us on your on the Facebook or you click the link on our Instagram that we usually post here. Either way, it's being brought to you by Spreaker.com. You can also hit us up, Sports Kings Live, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or email us at sportskingslive@gmail.com. Now, I told you guys I hadn't talked about my guy Russ in a while. And there's nothing to really talk about. He's been playing ball. He's just been doing his thing. Same old thing, same old thing. But then, as I'm scrolling, I have like the Tinder of sports feeds. And I just go left all day long. Left. Well, not all day long. I probably started
just swiping
at like 3 o'clock.
Swipe,
yeah, I probably started like 3 o'clock. Just swipe. I'm like, whatever catches my attention. And then I see this. Where have all the Russell Westbrook critics gone? Hey, you know what I said? You're damn right. Where have they gone? I do a show with one every day. So I say, let me read this. Oh, and I highlighted a bunch of crap too. Critics ring.
I don't hate Russell.
No,
Westbrook.
not anymore. Not anymore. Let me read this to you because you're gonna find a lot of the things on here have come out of your mouth. Critics routinely question if he was a true point guard. Haven't they, Rob?
Yeah.
If Russ's shot selection conflicted with the electric scoring Kevin Durant, if Oklahoma's ceiling was tied directly to his faults. Yeah, that happened. Hall of Famer Magic Johnson, in another episode of Old Guys Stop Talking, called Westbrook, quote, the worst point guard in the championship finals I've ever seen, end quote, after Game 2 of the 2012 finals. ESPN commentator Skip Bayless said, quote, cannot beat good teams, end quote, with Russ as the primary ball handler. Oh, boy. And you wonder why I call Skip Bayless an idiot. That's not the only reason. He is a mumbling idiot, but this is just, evidence of. And then my guy, Charles Barkley, suggested Westbrook doesn't make his teammates better. Has anyone heard of Enes Kanter? Oh, you have now? Oh, yes, Russ. He's 26 years old. So let me tell you something. And I made these points when all this foolishness was being said. First of all, Russ didn't play point guard at UCLA. He was a combo guard. So he's learning to play point guard in the NBA while competing with against some of the best. So in 2012, 3 years ago, Magic makes this comment about a 23-year-old. Oh, someone doesn't have foresight, do they? And you talking about a dude who has AIDS, and is surviving. So, you gotta have foresight. Know what I'm saying? For a dude in that position, Magic is healthier than I am. You see what I'm saying? You gotta have some level of foresight to be like, all right, okay, I got AIDS in 1980, whatever. Now, what I got to do to keep living until 2015?
91.
Oh, 91. Yeah, what I got to do to keep living till 2015 and beyond. And he is. That dude, like I said, that dude looks healthier than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, this year, I mean, especially, you know, the way the Russ has been playing, I mean, you